On today's Tuesday Talk, we are answering a question from a viewer about pests. They specifically asked if we had any issues with scorpions or tarantulas while we boondock in the desert. But we figured we'd expand that a little bit and talk about all sorts of pests. Because the answer to the scorpion and tarantula question is...
Nope.
No, we haven't seen a single one.
No snakes, knock on wood.
Yeah, that's our bigger issue here now that we're here in the desert. Are the snakes, though we're often camping in the winter when the snakes aren't as active, so that's part of the reason why we haven't really seen them. Tarantulas, I've seen a tarantula once in all of my time in Arizona, and it was in my backyard trying to get into my getting into my house, but they don't hurt you, so I just flung it out the door.
You flung the tarantula?
I got it on a piece of, just because they don't hurt you, it's a freaking big spider, so I just got it on a piece of cardboard and I flung it out the door. Scorpions, depends on your area. They're actually very prone to be like a lot of them in certain areas. And my parents' original house in Arizona had them, and so I saw them a lot there. That's the only time I've ever really seen live scorpions other than on black lights at night outside. I've seen a couple of dead scorpions here or there, but never in the Airstream, so it's just not something that we have to deal with inside the Airstream. I bet if we took a black light on the outside, we could probably find some, but why do that?
You know what we do have to deal with?
What?
Flies.
Flies are probably our biggest pest in the Airstream.
They're good for nothing. Tell me in the comments one single benefit, positive trait of a what do they do? I can't figure out why flies exist.
And some areas are really bad. So even just coming in and out of the Airstream door, even keeping the screen door closed, we just get so many flies in the Airstream.
They're good for nothing.
We've dealt with mosquitoes, as we've talked about in the past, and tried to keep them out of the Airstream.
Mosquitoes too.
Yeah.
Good for nothing.
Though one of the worst bug pests
we've had. They just carry disease.
Yeah. One of the worst bug pests we've had was actually in Antelope Island the first year we traveled. They have
the gnats or no-see-ums or something?
No-see-ums, which bite and they hurt, and they could fit through screens.
Bitey no-see-ums.
Yeah, they could fit through screens. So luckily we could keep all the windows closed because that campground has no electric. But luckily it was cold enough we didn't have to have the windows open, because otherwise we would have just been eaten alive. And they only have a couple of weeks a year where they hatch and they're really bad. But when
guess when we were there,
they're really bad. Yeah. So that we've had. We've had ants once when we lived in the KOA, and now on our land we have fire ants. So we have to keep an eye out for fire ant mounds and kill those, because I got bit by a fire ant, and so did Patty when we first got here. But none in the Airstream that we've seen, so that's good. And if we did have them, we'd just try to kill the mounds on the outside. And I think when we had the ants in Tucson, we used diatomaceous earth to help prevent them from, they'd eat that and then they don't like it. And So, and the only other pest we've really dealt with are mice. Which
and a pack rat.
One pack rat, yes.
As of 2 weeks ago, I think we've solved that problem.
Yeah, with lights again. So we did an entire video about how we prevent mice from coming in the Airstream, and if we followed our own advice, we would never have had the pack rat. So you should check out that video. I'll link to it in the description and in the cards. But pretty much lights make all the difference for us. I know that some people say they don't work, but
lights have worked for us.
Yeah, if we have light underneath the Airstream, we don't get mice or rats. You may ask, why not just seal up the holes that they get into? Good luck with that, because they can fit into a hole that big. And it would be impossible to seal every hole in the bottom and sides of your rig that are that big.
Especially when something like lights around the Airstream, it's easy, it works.
Yep.
They're solar lights, so we don't even have to plug them in. They use zero power, no batteries. It's just easy. Yep. It's an easy solution.
It is.
Yeah.
So that's everything we've dealt with pest-wise, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Not too bad, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
We've heard problems by other people, but it probably depends on where you are and what the pests in your area are like.
And the time of year.
And the time of year. Like we said, the snakes are going to probably be a bigger issue in the spring and summer if you're in the desert. So, yeah, I would just check with the locals in your area if you start having issues, because they probably can tell you the best ways to handle them, because I'm sure they deal with them as well. So that's
Yep.
it for this week's Tuesday Talk. If you have a question for a future Tuesday Talk, please leave it in the comments below.
And if you know the answer to what flies or mosquitoes are good for, please tell me. Please tell me.
Somebody said
Because I want to know.
bat and bird food in one of the other videos.
That's not good. I'm looking for something a little more than than that.
He told me the bats and the birds could survive without them. They have other food, which is probably true.
Yeah,
but.
exactly.
Okay, so if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And share this if you find it useful in any of your RVing groups out there.
Especially to a fly expert. Share it with a fly expert.
If you know a fly expert, you can go ahead and do that. And we will see you next time.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Flies. Mosquitoes.